Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. This video here is going to talk a little bit about get home bags and packs and stuff. It's going to be a little bit of a rant. It's going to be a little bit of a video response to some of the comments that I've gotten through the years. I got some new packs here that I'm going to show you guys, and this is going to be the controversial thing of this right here, and that's dialing your gear in for you. You see a lot of bag videos, you see a lot of pack videos, and there's a lot of stuff where people just throw rando stuff into a bag and they think they're good to go. If you don't go out and try that gear and find a legitimate reason for having that gear in your pack, it's a waste of space. It's extra weight you're going to carry that you're not going to use. And the only way you're going to know that stuff, if that stuff is right for you, is to get out, take walks, you know, fine tune stuff to your situation. You have to dial in your bag for you and where you're at. For me, the biggest thing for me is I've had to spend nights outside, and I don't want to have an instance where have to spend the night outside for some reason and I don't have certain things with me, because that would really suck. I'm trying to prevent that. And the way things are now in the world, you just don't know what's going to happen. Anything could happen at any time. And I think now more than ever, it's important to have a little bit of gear with you all the time. Keep it in your vehicle, whatever. Take your little pack in to the office or whatever it is that you have to, where you're working or whatever it is that you're doing. Because a lot of stuff in my pack, in my bag, I pull out and I use just because the stuff is needed right then and there. It's not always for, a 40-mile walk to get home or whatever. And that's another thing. When you get into, walks and, get home walks and stuff, I've done get home walks. I've done hikes around my area from just a mile or two to many miles to get, familiarized with my area and get comfortable, with walking with that gear. Because if you're going to walk home, you're going to, you're walking home routes that you probably already drive or something like that. They're not always going to be in the woods. So that's a whole nother, set of circumstances. There's just a lot of gear that people throw into their packs that I just don't think that they need. There's a lot of just extra weight, because in reality a 20-mile walk, that sounds like a lot, but it's really not that much. I mean, if you look at your app on your phone, what you walk every day, I bet you most people walk 5-6 miles every day right now. So just me, just an average working, I walk anywhere between 7 and 10 miles a day just at my job working. So, you're already halfway there when it comes to a 20-mile walk. And in reality, a 20-mile walk, most of what you're going to need is maybe, a pair of dry socks, a good jacket if it's, the weather's crappy outside, a bottle of water, and maybe a power bar, and a couple of $20 bills if you got to buy something. And in reality, for a 20-mile walk, that's all you're going to need. When you start getting into longer distances, 30, 40 miles, there's a good chance you might have to spend the night outside. So then that's what I've got gear for, in case I have to spend the night outside. Some of the gear that I don't carry, and the big one, this is kind of what brought this video on. I had somebody comment on the bag video I did a year ago, kind of my lightweight bag video that I carried last summer, and that was like 13 pounds. I didn't have a multi-tool in it, and I got a lot of people that commented on that. Hey, why don't you carry a multi-tool? Everybody else carries a multi-tool. Here's why I don't carry a multi-tool. The last 6 times that I've pretty much went out or did anything, I needed a multi-tool one time. And then I actually just used my knife to do what it is that I needed to do, and it was tighten a screw down. I didn't need a multi-tool. I don't use a multi-tool that much. And that was some real sacrilegious stuff to people. No, I carry a multi-tool in my belt every day. It's just, my thing. Well, that's for you. That works for you. That's great, but that's not for everybody. That nothing is set in stone. And there's a lot of sacred cows when it comes to these bag and pack videos that I found to be not correct. An axe is another one. I had a lot of people get on me. An axe, why aren't you carrying an axe when you might have to spend the night in the woods? Why wouldn't you carry an axe? Because I carry a knife. And in my winter bag video, I carried a baton. I got a lot of crap for that too. Well, you can just make a baton. I understand you can make a baton, but that takes time. And if I'm not carrying an axe and I want to split up some kindling quick to get a fire going, what's heavier? A small homemade baton like this that you made thrown in your pack, and a heavy knife, or carrying an axe plus those things. It's just one of those things. Water's another one. People, why are you carrying that? You can just forage for water. I foraged for water, and I'm here to tell you, foraging for water takes time, and it burns a lot of time. You got to find it. You got to get down to it. You got to get your bottles filled. You got to purify it. You got to get your tablets in it. You got to boil it. You got to get it through your filter. All that takes time. That might not be time that you have. You might want to be, walking in those instances. Cache is another thing. Don't hear a lot of people talk about cache in their bag videos. This is a kind of another comment that came up in another conversation that it was online, and the question was what if you only had like one thing? What is the one survival thing that you wanted? And I said a big old bag of cash, and I had people hate on me, something fierce. Oh, well, what if it gets stolen? Well, I'm pretty sure that if somebody's carrying a little pack around, most people aren't going to think that that's going to be full of cash. But if I had a whole ton of cash with me, I could buy my way out of a lot of problems. And if you've ever read where special operations forces, like in Afghanistan and stuff, they would always carry a large amount of cash with them when they went out on missions, in case they had to buy their way out of a problem, because it's easier to buy your way out of a problem than it is shoot your way out of a problem. But I had people that just couldn't wrap their mind around that. Hey, you know what? I got a little cash. Hey, I'll give you that cash. Can you give me a ride? Walk into, you don't have any water, whatever, walk into a gas station, buy a couple bottles of water, something to drink because you didn't have any food or whatever, a little bit of cash. Yeah, I know the financial system is all going to collapse one day and it's all fiat currency, but until it does, a little bit of cash can really help you out. And there's just different ways to do things, but gear, if you don't have a legitimate reason for your gear to be in your pack, don't carry it. I mean, if you've went out 3 or 4 times and you haven't used the thing that you have in your pack, why are you carrying it? And it's the same thing. If you went out 3 or 4 times and says, damn it, I wish I would have had this. And I've got an item in this pack right here that covers one of those things, and it's a pad to sit on. I took a walk with Uncle Bumble, and every time that I went out or camped this winter or whatever, I wish I had something to sit on. Yeah, you can have a garbage bag to sit on, and I did sit on a garbage bag in one of my other videos because I had a garbage bag with me, and that kind of sucks. You slide around on it, it's not very warm, doesn't insulate you for nothing, kind of sucks. Yeah, you can sit on a garbage bag, it's better than nothing, but it's literally, just better than nothing. Uncle Bumble had, he had a pad to sit on every time, and it was great. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna steal his idea, and I'm gonna grab a sitting pad. And why I didn't have one in my pack to begin with, I don't know, because I hunt and stuff. I've got pads to sit on here already, and I was like, man, why didn't I have this before? And that's one of those things to learn. Another thing, when it comes back to the multi-tool, if you're out with multiple people on a hike or walk or do anything like that, if one guy's got a multi-tool or one person has a multi-tool, not everybody's got to carry one. I know that's sacrilegious too, but if you got 3 people who went out and one guy's got a multi-tool, why do you want to carry extra tools? Yeah, theoretically you could be separated or whatever, but chances are you're not. So if one person has that gear, you can share that gear with everybody that's in your group. Now, like I said, yeah, you could get separated if it was some, really, tragic event that happened, but in general terms, that stuff's, statistically, that's not going to happen every time you go out. So if one person has, a piece of gear that can be shared with everybody in the group, that right there is a way to save weight, where the other people could carry something that could be used for everybody, and there's not so much redundancy in your group that's walking. Anyway, this is the stuff I've switched over to. I actually bought me one of these Hill People Gear kit bags. And this kit bag right here, I'm using for the gear that I use most, and I've decided to put that gear here on my chest where it's easy to access. I am a firm believer in small bags. I've carried small little pocket bags for years and years and years, and this is just sort of an evolution from that. And your gear should always be evolving. When you're out, when you're walking, when you're doing stuff, when you're camping, when you're hiking, whatever, all that relates back to preparedness because you're training yourself. And that's why I did that training yourself video. You can train yourself by actually getting out, doing things, and you can, tweak your gear for your specific situation, dialing your gear in again. And this right here, don't have much in here, but I got the stuff that I really want. I got 2 lighters actually, just like that right there. I got my ferro rod that I actually got strapped on here, so for some reason, if this would be open, I don't drop it off, and I actually threw my compass in here. Same thing, I got it tied off in here. I can take that off, put it around my neck if I need it, but that's all I got in here. I'm saving some space, and that's another thing. You want to save some space in your gear sometimes because you might want to add something to this for that particular walk or hike or whatever it is that you're doing. And that this pack can actually carry a gun too. I don't have a firearm in this pack, but you can actually put a firearm in the back portion of this pack. That's part of the reason why this pack was developed, was to carry a firearm concealed when you're out hiking and doing stuff, and it will hold multiple different types of firearms. I know, I've already tried it. But gloves. This is probably one of the most important things that you can carry because you never know what you're going to have to grab onto. You might have to grab something hot off a fire. You might have to grab something hot off your backpack stove. You might have to grab some pickers to move out of the way. You might have some fence that you got to maneuver around. This is really important. I got my headlamp in here. Also a very important piece of gear because it might be dark when you got to do something. And in all actuality, if I had to walk home in an emergency or something, I'm going to do it at night. So I'm going to need a little bit of light. Red light is even better for that because it doesn't shine. It doesn't announce your presence. Got an old pill bottle here that I got some Gorilla Tape wrapped around where I got some Vaseline cotton balls in to start my fire. Got a way to sharpen my knife. Also something that a lot of people don't get into. You start beating around on a knife, you're going to dull it. So you want to keep that sharp, and it's something that you can do quick and easy. And this is actually my knife. I got one of my knives basically just paracorded inside here. And this sheath actually has the belt clip on it. So then this sheath, if I decide I don't want it on here and put it on my belt, I can switch it around by just taking these paracord ties there with the cable locks or tie locks on there. And I also got a needle taped on here in case I got to dig a sliver or something out because, if you're out in the woods, that kind of stuff can happen. And the knife is just my, one of my SE4s, probably my favorite one. That's why I put it in here. So I got that to strike the rod. And then I've got my battery pack. This is a 3-charge battery pack, and I got 2 cords in here. I got 1 cord for my phone, and I got 1 to recharge that headlamp. Now that headlamp can be recharged off this pack. It also can run on AAA batteries. So that's basically this pack. This pack right here is 3.5. Oh, let me put my gloves back in here. 3.5 pounds. That's what this pack comes in at. And sometimes you don't want to carry your whole pack with what I'm doing. I just want kind of my basic stuff, and this is my basic stuff. So I can grab this, throw this on, and I don't have to use this with my bigger pack. Yet I can still take this with me. I still got my basic gear with me if I just want to go for a quick walk somewhere. It's easy on, easy off, and it runs with that other pack. This is the main pack, and this has basically got, my water bottle and my other essential gear that I want to have in here. And this right here is a Swagman roll, and that gets to, I had another person mention once, well, Dave Canterbury's Pathfinder system seems to have influenced your pack quite a bit. And that's a yes and no. Yes, there is some stuff in here that's, Dave Canterbury's stuff, but it's not everything. And some of his stuff I've actually modified to use for me, that works best for me. This Swagman roll right here, I've tried carrying this a bunch of different ways. I use it quite a bit. I find myself using this more and more, so I want this on the top of my pack. So I rigged up some shock cords here and a couple of the Grimlocks that were actually on that kit bag when it came. I rigged this up so I can run this on the top of my pack. And I use this you know, with my hammock in the wintertime. I use it kind of as an overquilt. I use it kind of as a blanket. When we took our road trip, I actually used this in the hotel room as a little blanket to cover up in the chair. I just use it in a bunch of different situations. So I want this up on the top, and because I kind of got it attached like this, I can just kind of flip this out of the way to get into the inside of my bag here. Now the top here, I got wipes, and I got a half a bar of soap, and that's one of those things too that I've learned through the years. I used to carry liquid soap. Liquid soap froze. The liquid soap opened up, got all over everything, so I switched to bar soap, and I've been happy with that ever since. This pouch, get it up here so you can see it. This is my water bottle, but I actually put the water bottle inside a pouch inside this pocket, and there's a reason for that, because and this is one of Dave Canterbury's things, but I carry it sort of different than they normally show. And what it is, I'm going to set it back down here, but I actually, let's see if I can show you this. I put my cup, I don't know if you can tell on there, I put my nesting cup actually on the top of the water bottle, because in these pouches, it's easier to get this out when it's on top than it is on the bottom. If that's pushed down into the bottom of your whatever, in your side pocket, in your pouch, whatever, that's very difficult to extract that cup out of there. But if you invert that, put the cup on top of your water bottle, the cup is on top, you can pull that out, and you can put it back in. And my metal water bottle is actually underneath this, and then on the side of this here, I got my pot hanger. So this is basically my cooking and water boiling kit on the side here, and I actually have this full of water. This pack right here is actually, it's a Junction pack from that same company, Hill People Gear, and this pack right here, I weighed it with this water in here, and it's 19 pounds. So I got 19 pounds here, I got 3.5 pounds in the other bag, and this basically is my pack here that I'm going to use for the spring and the summer. And in the top here, I have a little light that I got tied off to this right here, where I can actually shine in my pack. If it's dark, if I don't want to get my headlamp out or whatever, I can shine in here and I can see, you know, what I have or what I need. And on the top here, I got the stuff that I basically want to get to first, and that's my poncho, which I got here. And this poncho can be pulled out and can be used for a shelter, and I actually got a shelter kit that's rigged up in here for this kit. I can pull this out and I can throw this over my stuff. A poncho is something you don't want to skimp out on. You want a decent poncho. I know everybody's got the emergency ponchos, and again, that's something that I've learned from experience. Those emergency ponchos suck. They're a garbage bag with a hole and a hood on it. That's all they are. I mean, they're going to rip, they're going to tear. They're not good for much. So again, that's one of those things that I don't carry. I like a little fat wood, so that's one of my, I guess, comfort items that I use or that I take with me. It just makes it a lot easier to start a fire if I want to. And I also got my tent stakes in here. Those tent stakes can be used to rig up this tarp for a shelter. And then I got a little tie on one of my saws here. I got a folding saw. Again, I think a folding saw is more important than an axe. That's part of the reason I don't carry an axe. Then a food bag. Food is important, and I've actually used to use Ziploc bags, but I decided this year or this spring I'm going to start using one of these little dry bags to hold my stuff. And this has actually got bars on top, and it's got packed chicken in here, and it's got those Uncle Ben's rice packs inside this for easy to cook. You can eat it right out of the bag, or you can throw it in your cup that I showed you there and warm it up. I got drink mixes in here. Drink mixes are important because filtered water and purified water tastes like crap. And this is my basically seat pad. I don't know really the technical name for it, but it's a seat pad. It's got a little valve here where air goes into it, and you can use this to sit on. It's actually got a strap where you can strap it on and stuff too. I tried this on the outside of the pack. I didn't like it on the outside, so I put it on the inside. And that's one of those things too you're gonna try. And this right here, other dry pack that I got here. This is basically all the other stuff. This is all my accessory stuff. Socks right on top. with foot powder. Foot powder is important. Trust me on that. Foot powder can save you a lot of problems down the road. This is my first aid stuff. It's not a lot of stuff. It's moleskin, some KT tape, some Band-Aids, some Neosporin. And this Neosporin right here is one of the things that I just used in the last couple of days here. Somebody got a little road rash and they needed some Neosporin, and I just pulled it out of one of the packs so that they could use that. And then I've got some medication in these two bottles right here. Medication, if you take medication, it's very important to have plenty of that with you. Ooh, that was a crash, wasn't it? Medication is plenty important to take with you. You know, you got to have your medication with you for whatever reason, on top of stuff like Motrin or whatever, especially if you're taking that 20-mile walk. You're going to have aches and pains that you're not normally used to. Got a water filter here, and that goes with this right here. This is sort of my dirty water bottle. I will collect water in this, and then I can purify it, transfer it into that metal water container. That metal, you know, Dave Canterbury Pathfinder nesting cup, water bottle, and system, all, you know, and you can boil water and all that stuff because it's all the single-walled stuff. And then, of course, my backpack stove and a canister of gas, because sometimes you won't have enough time to start a fire. And then I like carrying the lid for that cup too. Just makes water boil faster, makes everything go faster. And finally, down here in the bottom, got my hammock. I like a hammock. I can string it up, use it as a chair to sit in. I can lay back a little bit. I'm up off the ground. I don't like sleeping on the ground. I have slept on the ground. Sleeping on the ground sucks. Yeah, there's ways you can get around. You can carry pads, you can carry packs, that kind of stuff. But I prefer to not be on the ground if I have that choice. And again, that's one of those things that I just learned from experience. It's one of those things about dialing in my stuff. And then I got some cord in here, and both basically I got a setup here that I can rig my poncho up as a rain fly, and I got these figure 9 carabiners. I'm not that good with knots, and I'll be the first to admit that, but those figure 9 carabiners are a huge helper when it comes to knots. And then this is actually the Rapid Ridgeline, again, that Dave Canterbury Rapid Ridgeline, but I've modified it for me. I've put some cheap carabiners on here. These can go onto the grommets of my poncho to rig that up as a shelter if I want to. And because, again, I'm not good with knots, I have another figure 9 carabiner here where I can attach this up to a tree. So I got a bowline on the one side where I could wrap that around, pull it through, and then I can use this to cinch that ridge line tight, and I don't have to use any knots. So that's basically my kit here. And like I said, maybe I'll show you this here too quick. My kit has been dialed in for me. And, you know, this isn't the perfect kit for, you know, somebody that maybe would be in a desert or something like that, but then that's my nesting cup. Again, one of the most important things, I mean, if you got a cup and you got a bush pot, you can boil water, you can cook, you can drink out of it. And then this is my quart of water that I got in there, and then that I already showed you. But that's basically my gear. That's my 19 pounds of gear that I'm going to carry here for the summer. This is another controversial piece of equipment right here, and this, everybody's got one of these in their pack, it seems like, but for me, you know, it's good for, you know, wiping your face or drying your hands if you're at camp. I actually find that a schmog like this is probably best at camp for a towel. I use this as a towel all the time when I go camping. But does it need to be in a bag so much? I don't know. I mean, in the summertime, it's nice because it'll keep the sun off you. But I don't use it all the time. So it's one of those, I guess, things that I'm on the fence about. I do have one in my vehicle, so I can stick it in a pocket if I want to, but I don't always have this in a pack. Sometimes if I think I'm going to need it, I can throw it in a pocket, take it with me. Another thing is the good that's having in your vehicle is good rain gear. Don't cheap out on rain gear. I know everybody says, oh, this is a cheap, you know, I got it at Tractor Supply. This is my cheap, you know, raincoat. it's going to fall apart, dude. If you don't spend a little bit of money on a raincoat, it's going to fall apart. The best thing I ever did was spend a little money on a raincoat, and I did that a year and a half or so ago, and I just find myself using that all the time. If you go somewhere, starts raining, you got it with you, you can grab it and you throw it in. So the raincoat just kind of like hangs out in my vehicle beside this pack, so I can put that on, or throw it into one of the lashings or something that I got there if I don't want to wear it right away. But a good raincoat is worth its money in gold. So schmog, one of those things too. If you use it a lot, keep it in your pack. If you don't, you don't. But you gotta dial that gear in for you. Everybody's going to be different. This is me here in Michigan. It's not for everybody, but for me, this is what works. Like I said, I've dialed this in for myself over the years, and this is just what I like to carry. And another thing, don't be afraid to weigh the components in your bag, when you're putting that stuff in there, so you can keep track of your weight a little bit, because you can always tweak that weight in your pack for you, because of course less is more when it comes to taking long walks like that. But anyway, hope you guys got something out of this video here. Hope my rant mindset video here doesn't, my mindset on some of this stuff doesn't offend too many people, but I just wanted to address some of those things and get gear for you. Get gear what works for you. Get gear that's been proven to you, and don't be afraid to jettison stuff if you're not using it. It's not the end of the world if you don't have this or that in your pack and you never use that stuff to begin with. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment out of my video here, and you guys have a good day.